Hello, hello, hello. Hey,
Good
how's
morning.
everyone? Good morning.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Like and
Happy
subscribe.
Friday.
First and foremost, how's everyone doing? Let's see who's in our trusted Discord. Of course, one agent, one of the first one I see. Hey, man, Mr. Vulture, Time Machine. Hello, everyone. Today we are joined by Mr. Volkran and Miss Farmer Michelle.
It's a
Sadly, a
small
few of our
crew
other
today.
yeah, small crew today. One, a few of the other people are either sick or they're hard work at something really interesting. So we'll share some news today. There's a lot to talk about. Let's see who else is coming in. No free lunch. Let's see. There's a jail lurcher. Jail. I don't know how to say your name, man. Sorry.
That is a
Uh,
hard one to pronounce. I'm not sure how to pronounce that one either.
Good morning, Mr. CGN Master. What? Master Oi Gooft and Stan. So, welcome everybody. Let's see, we should get started. So, welcome to the September, what is it, 22nd, right?
Yes. Yes, it
Yep.
is.
AMA, we do this AMA almost weekly. We skipped last week. We were working on something that we'll hint today. Since last year, we need to share what's going on with everyone, answer questions, share news, and yeah, maybe a leak or two. And of course, remember to like and subscribe in our new trusty YouTube channel where we're in. So let's get started. What are our headlines, Miss Farmer Michelle?
Let's go over quick what rewards went out this week. The gold ore storages went out, but I believe just the rare gold ore storages went out. That's probably my fault for not setting it up properly. But the uncommon ones and the common ones are on their way. They just need a final set of approval, and those should also be out to everybody. I apologize that only the one went out and the other two did not. The bulky storehouse blueprint also went out, as did the reward for the baguette competition last week. So that's all done. The town burn to Gala has now ended. So that is over. Uh, the link is gone. It's all
So
done. I
how
don't have to
long?
remind you every week now.
Yeah, for how long were we saying that? Like,
Oh my God, it felt like forever. I mean, it was 180 days that we had it going. So it was every week for a really long time. It'll be nice to not have to say it anymore.
yeah. So this is the last time, and I hope that you guys reach out to anyone who had, at some point left the game and still may have had town around. Uh, but we burnt a ton of town into Gala in those like 6 months. So thank you everybody for reaching out to other people and for letting them know what's going on. Uh, Farmer Michelle, you won't have to say that starting next week. So that's good.
Nice.
What about some quick social media update? What's going on there?
Uh, since Ninja Surprise is still out on paternity leave, myself and someone else, I forget his Discord name, so I'm not going to say it. We finished all the Zeely board stuff, so that should be all done now. I know you guys were asking about it because it was behind, but we did get it all caught up, so all the requests should be approved now, and we'll try to keep it up to date every day as we're going. We're not as awesome as Ninja Surprise, but we're trying to do all of his work for him while he's gone.
Yeah, I
That's all
mean,
I got for social media.
Yeah, Ninja Surprise is awesome. He's really good. But he had to take care of his kid, be with his newborn, and that's way more important. So uh, we're trying to catch up, and he'll be back soon. So, what are we walking into next?
We're gonna jump right into the big news. I think that's what everybody wants. So
The big news.
let's
Okay,
dive right in.
so yeah, let's see. Let me see if I can share screen. Sorry, something here in Discord. May not be final, but I just shared there uh, an image. Do we have it in YouTube too? Yeah. Okay, we have it there. Thank you. What? How should I call you? I keep forgetting. Um, well, our trusty technician here in the stream. So, what is this that we're sharing? So that's common ground, right? So you probably heard it uh, um, from Benefactor. You know, you've probably seen what film is doing, and what this is a partnership with the filmmakers of documentaries Kiss the Ground and Common Ground. These are really interesting, in-depth, and very successful documentaries on and films on regenerative farming, ecology, ecosystems, and so on. So we're partnering with them in a big effort, throughout Gala. This is super important to Gala and very personally to Benefactor, because it ties into what he believes a lot about ecology and saving the world, stuff like that, which is very important. So this is a Gala-wide effort spearheaded by our friends at Gala Film. So given this change, we are rebranding the game from Townstar to Common Ground World, right? So we're officially in sync with the film, and the important and cool thing to say here is, well, if you check out Kiss the Ground, you'll see that it has been watched 1 billion times. That's billion with a B. So and at least 250 million uniques. So that's a lot of people that have watched those films are expected to watch the second film, Common Ground. So that's part of what we're trying to tap into by this partnership. They're really excited to do this with us, and we're really excited to do it too. So if you want to support the film, the next one, the sequel, which is called Common Ground, right now, Gala Film has a way for people to pay forward tickets to screenings of the film. So, and also each tier has tons of perks for buyers. I'm gonna drop the link here in Discord. So that's the landing page where you can check out what Gala Film is doing. They're basically selling bundles of tickets that you pay forward, so other people can grab them later on and go see local screenings. So we're trying to help this film, which we think has a really important message, get out to a huge masses of people. So you can check out the first film, Kiss the Ground, now on Netflix. Has been there for a while, and you can be on the lookout for local showings wherever you live for Common Ground, and you can try to claim those tickets from Gala. So there's a claim system for the tickets that have been paid forward in our site. Right? So you can go and say, "Hey, I live New York, California, somewhere where we have early screenings," and you can say, "I want a ticket," and you can try to grab one. So what we're doing is not only changing the name of the game, we're also adding a new game mode, which is a start for our persistent town idea we've talked about before, right? So we said we have the idea for the persistent town. We started working on some other stuff, and then we said we have this partnership, which is pretty cool, and it ties really well into the persistent mode. So what we're doing is adding a new game mode. I don't know, Vulcan, if you can share the hack main menu that we have right now for it.
Sure. Yeah. Let me paste that up. It's visible in YouTube, and I'll post in Discord in a second. Yeah. So we're adding that third game mode, which Misashi will talk about a little bit.
Right. So we are adding a new game mode called Common Ground or Persistent mode. And in this mode, well, it's your town will start very small, like in a corner of the map, and you will have to build up wealth to reclaim tiles around you. Much of the theme of the films is reviving soil. Making sure that um, um, like which ways we have as people and not only individuals but also as institutions and countries to recover uh, spoiled soil and make it be farmable again, right? And help with climate change. So that's part of the game mode. You will be surrounded by this dead earth essentially, and you can build wealth to then revive it and reclaim it, right? So to make it very friendly for new players, because we're expecting a lot of new players to come in. This new game mode will have no gas requirements for trading, no worker wages. There's no leaderboards or stars. This is mostly a casual experience, right? Fast forward will be always on to make it persistent, but it will be the fast one, not the very accurate version that you guys have in competitions that we're still working on, but the very fast one that it's lightning fast, and possibly no proximity effects affecting crops or crafting. We don't want to confuse these new players. It's like, hey, here's a new, just a simple casual experience for farming, and all in all, we're trying to make this new game mode super casual and inclusive to new players. And the idea would be, well, people come in, they kind of like this slow pace thing where they can set up a couple things, come back, try to reclaim some land, expand their town, make some money, and then they can say, well, there's also competitions, right? And that's where they will tie into what you play now and love, which are the hardcore competitions that we have in the current Downstar. So that's kind of the new game mode that we're working on. And to commemorate this new partnership, we'll also be selling the first upgradable NFTs next week. So we'll have two new NFTs next week. The first upgradable NFTs, also the first NFTs in GalaChain. They will be the composting facility and the Common Ground Academy. Uh, I won't go into much detail about what they do. We'll give that information next week. But both will be sold at level one, and you can get both of them for $10. And a portion of that will go to charity, right? We're trying to support the charities and the work that Common Ground is doing. So that's part of that effort. The upgrade system is in the works still. Like you will get the level one NFTs and you won't be able to upgrade them yet, but that will come down the line. The important thing is that we're not leaving competitions behind. We're not just shelving the old game. What we'll have is this game mode, which is casual, and we'll still have the competition system, which will work exactly as it works right now. So next week we'll have vanilla meta with gala rewards as we adapt to the new changes and hopefully the new people that are coming in. So that's the news on the persistent mode. I'm catching up with what Vulcan is saying in Discord. Let's see. In case it was, yeah. So this new game mode is slightly different from what you're experiencing. The competitions are very fast paced, very hardcore. This is not that. This is supposed to be slow paced. More relaxing. People can do a couple things, come back a couple hours later, and then add a new building or set something up. More like a farmer game or a old type of casual game. But hopefully, some of them will go and say, "Oh, I also want to participate in competitions because that sounds fun," and they'll get into the rabbit hole that you love right now, which is hardcore competing, gala NFTs, and so on. So that's the information on Common Ground. That's a big news, big marketing push coming from the top. Very important to Gala and Benefactor. Please check out Gala Film. You can buy those paid forward bundles, so you can help the film, you can help the message, and you can get some really cool perks with that. Let's see. Am I missing something, Farmer Michelle?
Not that I can think of. I think you mentioned everything.
Okay. So what's next?
Let me see here. I think we're going to talk a little bit about what we know about the tokenomics and the light paper.
Yes. Okay. So this is a little of great news. Uh, Basically, we have the tokenomics in draft, but since we're doing this big change, we had to stop some of that because most of the companies working in this partnership, be it Gala Film, us, everybody else. So we also want to check how the changes to the game mode, the new game mode, and the additions affect the tokenomics. So we have to put this a little bit on hold while we work hard on the game mode and the rebranding. You can see the new logo and everything else that's going on. We're adding new tiles to the game. We're adding a bunch of changes. So we'll have to keep that on hold for a little bit longer while we release this thing. We're trying to catch it next week because that's when the film Common Ground goes into limited release in the US. So the idea is, well, people watch it and then they'll come to our ecosystem and they can play the game right away, right? So this has been our focus right now. That's why we are concentrating on working on that, and we're putting the tokenomics model on hold for a week or two while we work on this. So that's kind of the sad news. I know that you guys are expecting that, but if we get great influx of people, then that will definitely affect how we approach the tokenomics. But now let's go into something a little more interesting for you guys, maybe, which is that we are expanding the team. Right, Bulgar?
Yeah, absolutely. Super excited to have one of our new hires start this week. I guess I could go into detail a little bit. Um, there's more than just art and code in these games, and one of the biggest things, like somebody even in Discord this morning said, well, if you're gonna attract a bunch of new players, you're gonna have to increase the servers. Well, that's easy with our architecture to just throw more servers at the problem, but um, there's a lot more behind the scenes that we can do to make them more efficient, so it's cheaper for us, so we can do more good stuff for the game. So super excited to have our DevOps wizard joining us this week. He already started and he's off and running. So welcome. He's not in Discord yet, I don't think. So I just won't say his name, but yeah, we're excited to have him.
So we got one new engineer coming in, right?
Yep. Actually, he has already started as well for our front end. Super experienced Godot dev, and he's already adding features and fixing bugs, and is a joy to work with. So yeah, both
Oh,
these
okay.
guys are great.
So we have two new engineers coming into the team in the past 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, they're pretty good. They're catching up really fast on what we're doing. So they're starting to help out with everything that's going on, especially the new game mode and the marketing push, the big marketing push. But then we also got three new artists. So I think that's also really cool. We got an art director coming in. We got a 2D artist and a 3D artist, and all of them have been super fast catching up to what we're doing, how we're doing it. They're a big part of the rebranding too, so they're helping out with the logos, with the farmer image change, new tiles that we're adding to the game, and the new buildings. Of course, the two NFTs that are going for sale next week. But just gotta mention that the amazing logo that you saw and the change in the image, that's all Mr. Wana Gent. He's awesome as always, so he's providing that value there. Um, and the other good thing is that so we have two engineers, three artists, and then we have one game designer coming in next week. So that will be really helpful with all the designs for new features, especially the ones that tie into tokenomics and earnings, right? So we know, well, as you know, we know kind of what we want to do with tokenomics and earnings. We have the light paper in draft, even though it's a little bit on hold now while we do this. But there's tons of features that need to be designed and balanced and before they can be implemented by our great engineers. So our game designer that is coming in next week will really come in handy to make all of these things happen really fast and in a great way. So five new hires in the last 2 weeks and one people coming in next week to make this game, even better every week. And that's the info on the team. What's going on with the team? Are there any
Awesome! I'm
questions
super
about that?
excited to meet our new team members.
Yeah, Farmer Michel, are there any questions regarding the team?
I didn't see any questions about new hires or anything in the chat. Nope. I think we should move on to game updates.
Is that me again?
Looks like it.
Well, before we do that, please remember to like and subscribe so that I don't get yelled at when this is over. So let's see. So this week we had two updates, if I'm not mistaken, and there's a bunch of things going in, mostly fixes, right? So the Miranda's Pave Rose skin was not working for Pave Rose. That should be fixed. We fixed the crane bot's unit speed. Let's see. The unit speed for Fancy Barn and Natural Energy Plant were fixed. There was an issue returning to main menu, which causes a freeze. Sadly, that's not fully fixed, but we did fix it in most cases. Let's see. There was an issue with the Elf bot dropping off sugar to Green Dragon Express. Some issues with Oak X Barter Station. Salty bot also had some pickup issues. Those were all fixed. And we also added better server error handling. So always improving the error handling for the game. So a lot of fixes this week, especially around units and what they do. And then for additions, we added the Supreme Silo NFT, which went on sale Monday. That thing had an issue that had shade for a little mistake that would happen with the data, but that was fixed the following day. Then the gold ore storage was also added in all of its varieties. I know that we have an issue with the uncommon not going out, but that's going to be solved soon. And then we did a couple of changes to the production monitor and the UI that shows what you're producing on the left of the screen, right? So we're showing gas first, and then all other items descending. We added this since last reset timer, right? And of course, we added the four cheese a pizza competition and the test competition, which will be ending pretty soon.
That is a lot of stuff.
Well, it was a
Good
lot of
job,
stuff
team.
coming out, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of changes, while also working on this rebranding and this new game mode. So that's pretty good. But then for what's coming up next for the game, so main thing is Common Ground World. You should expect that next week. So at some point next week we'll do the change. We're expecting around Wednesday, maybe the day before. Uh, the name of the game will be changed from Downside to Common Ground World. We'll change the logos, and we'll be adding the new persistent mode to the game. But also we have other things coming out today. So we'll have a vanilla competition next week. So an anything goes competition is scheduled for next week. Then for features, we're adding the tutorial V1. That will be really important for the new game mode. We want new players to come in, go into the new game mode, and kind of understand better what's going on instead of the problems we've had with users before, where they come in and they don't get anything what's going on with the game. So that simple tutorial hopefully will help with that. Then we have GalaChain still in progress. The two new NFTs for Common Ground will be the first ones in GalaChain. So the composting facility and the Common Ground Academy that will be on sale next week for $10 as a bundle. They will be GalaChain NFTs. So we're working hard to make GalaChain available um, from the moment that they are on sale. That's next week. And regarding quality of life improvements, I think that the trade timer info it's ready to go. I think, Mr. Bullcrun, or pretty close to being done.
Yeah, it's in merge request right now, so we're looking at it. All that
Right.
coding is done. Yep.
Okay. So basically, pretty soon you'll be able to click the truck or any type of trade building, and you'll be able to see how long until it becomes available again, right? Which is something that you guys were asking for. So that should be out pretty soon. So tutorial, Gala chain, and in quality of life improvements, trade timer info. And that's what's coming up next for the game soon. Apart from the two level 1 upgradable NFTs going on sale next week, there's no sale. So next week you'll have competition, vanilla competition. You can do whatever you want. That will be available in casual mode when we do the release today, and you will get, as always, a test competition that runs Saturday to Monday. And that's what's coming up next. Are there any questions regarding that, Farmer Mitchell?
Let's see. I see people asking about NFT changes and stuff for the new game mode. I mean, the new game mode is different. Things like crafting times, timers, proximity, craft requirements, all of that kind of stuff is likely changing for the new game mode because it's a casual mode. It's a, slower based mode. It's, you expand slowly as you go. So the, NFTs will work differently in that mode than they work in the other mode. So there will be changes, especially if craft requirements change. If you wouldn't want your bakery to require something that is different from what that mode's bakery is. So
Right. So then
there will be changes.
the new game mode can be vastly different in terms of timers. So for example, I think the wheat right now is like 40 seconds. So that could go up to 5 minutes or something else. We can maybe leave some buildings out of the game mode at first completely because we're trying to streamline that thing. We want people to come in and say, oh, okay, here's the succession of things that I need to do in this game. I need to set up wheat production, and then I can afford after a couple of selling a couple things. I can afford a windmill, so I can start producing flour. Okay. After I do that, I can go and recover some land from the board. Right. By that I mean that I think we have a 5x5 initial town. Is that correct, Farmer Mitchell?
Yes, 5x5 is as big as the starter town's going to be, and then you'll have to slowly expand from there.
So the rest of the board will be covered in basically spoiled earth or soil, right? So part of the idea is, you go through this mode. At some point, you're like, okay, I got enough money to recover this land tile by tile, and that way you slowly expand. So all of the timers will be completely different. We may change some of the requirements, but the good thing is that the competitions will remain as they were before. That date is not changing. Those timers are not changing in that way. So it's just a very different mode for a very different type of player.
Are there any other questions? Asking about the trade bot again. I've already answered the question a couple of times today. The trade bot's not waiting on GALACHAIN. The trade bot's waiting on crypto crafting. I don't know if you remember, but the crate that most players have, that's the trade bot crate, is literally just a crate filled with hundreds, maybe thousands, I forget the exact number, of tiny little bot parts. And those all need to be crafted into a trade bot on the blockchain. And that part of the GALACHAIN technology is not finished yet. So there is no trade bot currently because there's no way to craft a trade bot or a crane bot. They're all just a bunch of tiny little pieces.
Right. So any questions around the new game mode or anything that's going on with the marketing push for the game?
I don't see any.
Okay.
I see a question about fast forward and when it's going to not take as long. Do we have any updates on when that kind of stuff is happening?
The what, sir? Can you repeat that?
The fast forward for like the regular competition mode.
When it's getting fixed? Oh, go ahead, Volker.
Yeah, well, so that's part of anybody who was listening a couple minutes ago when we talked about our new DevOps guy. One of his first tasks is to set up offline processing of fast forward so we can leave it efficient, and for competitions we can leave it very accurate and then not have to wait. So if you're logged out for a day, in the background we will occasionally fast forward your town for you if you look like an active player. So that ball is rolling thanks to our new DevOps hire.
Okay, cool. So new hires are coming in to help us do some of the things that we haven't been able to accomplish or finish because we're working on a bunch of different stuff. So that's what the DevOps guy is coming in for. Thank you, Volker. So he will help with fast forward.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, what is next here? Someone's trash is getting picked up. That was loud. Let's move on to the Q&A.
Sorry, they time it out for the AMA, I swear.
They must know that you're on the air. The first question I had here in the form is, are you planning to establish an in-game market without needing OpenSea?
So that's not our call as a game team. That's part of the Gala ecosystem. I think that for now we're not doing an in-game market. But with the shift to GalaChain, I think that there are some talks about what we can do to help people trade their things. Right, Michelle? That's what I heard.
I believe so, yes.
Yeah. So for now, we don't have any plans for in-game market, or I don't think there are any announcements for Gala-wide trading. But as soon as we know something, we'll let you know.
Okay, the next question that I have says, there's been talk of releasing an API so we can have third-party leaderboards like we had on Townstar Legacy. My question is, would you ever consider having a Townstar leaderboard on your own website that we could view without logging into the game?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a great idea. Again, our new DevOps guy, that falls on him. He's going to be able to help us set up external, public-facing keyed APIs with all the good stuff like throttling and protections, and then that will let us provide to the company a status page if we want to stick it on Gala's main site somewhere. It's a great idea. I'm glad somebody brought it up.
Awesome, thank you. The next question says, can you do an on-camera AMA? It's much more engaging. Thanks.
I'm tagged in this one for some reason. I would say maybe if we all get Unreal MetaHuman and have virtual avatars or something, but yeah, I'm not super pumped about putting my face on the internet.
Everybody should already know what I look like because I've done videos with Bitbender before. So no big deal there. I should reach out to see if he wants to do another How to Play Townstar video, though. That would be a fun idea.
That would be fun.
Good
timing, too.
God, it's been a long time since we did that. I feel like it was last fall. I'll have to look back. My hair is a lot more gray now than it was then.
What you're revisiting that? Would that be different now with no gas and no worker wages? Would you show off the common ground mode? Or?
Yeah, I'll have to see if he wants to do that. Maybe I'll reach out to him this week. Well, whenever he gets back from wherever he is, I forget. I know we already said it once today, but I forget where he is. Whenever he's back in the USA and on my time zone, I'll reach out and see if he wants to do a video. All right, next question here says, can we get an update on how the team is collaborating with players in the focus group? To be honest, there's not much really going on in the focus group. Feel free to reach out to your guild leaders and they can post questions there. The whole reason it was created was the community wanted us to create a focus group where guild leaders and top players could bring forth issues that they see within their individual communities and their guilds. And I'm kind of relying on people from the community to bring forward whatever they want to bring forward. So reach out to your guild leaders if anyone's interested in being a part of the community focus group. Let me know. Or if anyone who's already in there has any suggestions for anyone else who would like to be in there, let me know. But it's been pretty low-key in there, so really not a lot going on right now. Oh, the next question says, can you give a date or within the next X weeks when town nodes will be NFTs?
That's not really on us. So I don't know that we could give out a date, really.
So I know that they're working on it. So what I can tell you is that they're working on it. I know that it's one of the priorities of that team, which is not our game team. So they're working on all nodes in the company being NFTs, not licenses. They did ask us, maybe I shouldn't say these things because they're internal, but they did ask us for a logo or like an image for the NFT. So that is something that is coming, I expect, very soon. As soon as we get an idea of when that'll be done, we'll let you guys know in the AMA. But it seems to be a priority for the chain team.
Okay, is that the last question? No, I have one more. says a lottery system should be implemented for at least 10 players to be gifted a luxury or legendary NFT for playing in the competition, which is not a question, but a statement, but that's okay. I can understand the question from within the statement. I definitely think that would be a fun idea. It's always cool when like random players get big rewards. That's always an exciting moment. Definitely something that we will think about. Maybe not every week, but it could be something we could do on occasion as a fun little twist to the events.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, luxury or legendary NFT for playing the competition. So this is just luxury system. I like that idea. We just have to figure out. I think that there are some legal things, KYC, that we need to do. Is that correct, Farmer Michelle, for those kind of things?
Yeah. Yeah, we probably would.
Yeah. So we'll discuss it. It sounds like a good idea, especially with hopefully more people coming in soon. Do we
Yeah,
have any
definitely.
other questions?
The only other question in here says, "Hi, can you do competitions every 2 weeks instead of weekly?" We usually just rely on the community to decide that kind of stuff with polls and surveys. I think it's been like 2 months or so since I sent out a survey, so I should probably send out another survey and see if people's opinions have changed. So I will try to work on that this weekend and get a survey out next week. No promises since we've got the new game launching, but I will do my best to get a survey
But
out soon.
so we've asked, and people have been fine with weekly, right? I'm guessing that there's always different opinions, but we have our weekly competitions. We have the test competitions on the weekends. Yeah, you can just tell me in Discord, and I know that Farmer Michelle will get to do a survey at some point. But what do you guys think? Let us know in Discord. Okay, those are our questions, right, from the forum.
Yeah, that was all the questions. We can do some live questions if anyone has any.
Well, I see people want to do stack boxes. I know they're joking, but one day I'll believe you guys and say, "Hey, stack boxes for weeks." That's what you wanted, right?
It does seem like
Um,
people want to make stack boxes quite a bit, so maybe we should just boost the points of stack boxes.
yeah, I see some comments there regarding weekly or non-weekly. Weekly, please. Weekly is better. People can take a week off if they want. That's true. Like if you don't want to participate 1 week, you don't have to. We're not forcing anybody. 2 weeks double rewards. That's an interesting one. Uh, yeah. Let's see what other questions there
So
are.
many mixed emotions about stack boxes. Funny.
Yeah, some questions about next biome for the next meta. That's coming, guys. Don't worry, we'll get there. Seavork is saying, can we get a node utility update? So our update, we mentioned it last time. The game right now is supporting IPFS, and we're uploading, which is Interplanetary File System. That's the first thing. Of course, we've been working on this new game mode, but after that's done, we have a roadmap that we're preparing for the whole game, including nodes. So that's still a part of our vision for the game. How to give you to nodes, probably around guilds, which I think is pretty interesting. Basically making each node a guild. Let's see if there are other comments. Stack boxes, weekly is fine. Lico is saying. Let's see. Mr. Troop is saying 3 day competition, maybe? Competitions are 3 days. What are we talking about? Am I missing something there? If star
I don't
values are
know. They're
changing,
72 hours long, so they're
yeah.
definitely 3 days.
Eves715 saying if star values are changing, we'll need that ASAP. Yeah, we'll have the information on the competition. The new game mode doesn't work with stars. It's not a competition at all, so that doesn't matter there. Dapster Rosen, I want to do a wine bottle build. As a Chilean, I completely agree. I love wine. We're big producers here, so maybe we'll get to that too. Well, we actually done that since May 1st, right? Since we released the new game, we did a wine competition. Let's see.
I see a question about credit card sales. There's currently no ETA on credit cards. We need to get a new company to do the credit card processing, so it's probably going to be a while. I wouldn't. I don't think it's going to come like within the next week. So I would I'd just be patient. A couple weeks maybe, but that's just a guess. I don't know.
So we have our we're the game team, but we have the central team, software team that are working on those things. They are working on that, so we'll get it fixed. Don't worry, guys.
All right, that was it for questions, I think. Do we want to talk about those 2 new NFTs, or do we want to jump into competition information?
So we already mentioned it, but I'll just repeat it. So with the release of the rebranded game, so changing Townsend to Common Ground World next week, we'll have a landing page where you'll be able to buy 2 NFTs for $10, and part of that will go to charity regarding Common Ground. The one is the composting facility, and the other one is the Common Ground Academy. I'll just give you a high level. I don't want to get into details, but the composting facility will boost the speed of surrounding crops by a certain percentage because of compost going into the surrounding areas. It will help them grow faster. And the Common Ground Academy will be similar to our what you may have known as the research center, right? That's the name that we used before, right, Michelle?
Yes, it was the research center in the old game.
Right. So the Common Ground Academy, it won't be. We'll be selling it next week, and we'll be working on the Excite utility later. But basically, is a way for people to do time boosts, right? So the Common Ground Academy will allow you to say, "Hey, I'm gonna, activate this or that boost." It will have a certain time, and then we'll have a cooldown, and then we'll be able to activate it again, right? So those are thought of mainly for the new game mode, but they will also work on the old competition system. So that's coming out next week. It's for charity, first and foremost, and yeah, 2 upgradable level 1 NFTs in GALACHAIN for $10. I think that's a good deal. Then let's go into the information for the competitions.
Oh, right. So this week we did pizza, 4-cheese pizza. The reward this week was the Crafty Silver Knowledge Blueprint, along with the Gala rewards that we always do.
What does it do?
What does the Crafty Silver Knowledge? That increases your craft time of silver products. I think silver and silver wire. It's been a while since I've even looked at it. It's been a full week now. In the foundries and in the forges. I expect that reward will be out early next week, like it usually is. And the next competition, as we've already said, is vanilla, so you can make anything you want. At some point, we'll probably have to stop calling it vanilla if we ever end up with vanilla. But for now, we're going to continue to call it a vanilla meta. So that'll be called Anything Goes again.
So what you're saying is that if we got to the vanilla craft and we did something like, French coffee or vanilla ice cream, we would have to change the name of our vanilla meta. You know what I mean?
We probably would.
It would get confusing.
It would definitely get confusing. But for now, we'll continue to call it a vanilla meta.
Well, I know that there's someone in the team who may be listening to this that suggested a coffee meta line, which I thought was really interesting. So shout out to Mr. Wano Gent and his coffee ideas. I would love to do French coffee, which has vanilla in it. So, yeah. Next week is just anything goes, which is what we call vanilla competition. You can do whatever you want. And I'm posting the information here in Discord.
Nice. I will post the list of the stars and stuff that are changing right there. Just an image because there's a bunch of them. I'm going to try to slowly adjust some other stuff as we go along through the weeks to try to rebalance the game. If anyone has any suggestions, again, let me know. I know Dash sent me a bunch of suggestions. So did a couple of other people. So This is just a start. Don't think that this is like the final level of where everything will be. Things will probably slowly get adjusted through the next few weeks. For the rewards next week, we're not doing a blueprint. We've got the team focusing. Yes, these are core changes. We've got the team focusing on common ground world, so there is no blueprint reward this coming week. As I said earlier in the chat, we do have a new reward structure that's waiting for approval, so it may or may not get approved. So the reward structure, as of right now, will be the same as the one we've been doing for Gala rewards. If it does change, we will let you know before the competition starts.
Right. So Gala only rewards for next week's competition. Is that correct?
Yes, Gala only, no blueprints.
Got it. I missed it in what I posted in Discord, but initial cash is 25. As always, 1 gas, 60 seconds trading. It's a forest east with oil seep, right? The biome.
Yes.
And the super tiles are river north, plains east, south. You get a mountain, and west you get ocean. And that will be in casual mode when we do the release in a couple hours after the competition ends. And you, as always, will get a test competition that runs Saturday to Monday, and then the proper competition starts on Tuesdays, as always. So that's the information on next week's competition. Are we missing anything, Miss Farmer Michelle?
Not anything from within our agenda. We definitely went over everything that I have written down.
Okay. Let's see.
Do we have any other live questions out there?
I'm sorry, I missed something in my ear. What were you saying, sorry?
I will check YouTube and see if there are any questions in the YouTube channel.
Let's see, I'm checking Discord. In the meantime, some people saying, hey, we're going to do stack boxes with that biome and super tiles. That's on you, man, guys. You can do whatever you want. Saying other comments. Coffee meta recipe. So I see people that really like the coffee meta idea. One gent with his RoboCup idea. He even has a design for it. Nice. So I'm hoping to get to that soon. Let's see. Coffee is great meta. Can even add chocolate for mochas. Yeah, that's a good idea, right? We have chocolate in the game. As we said, I'd love to have vanilla and maybe some other things. Maybe you can do like an Irish coffee at some point, since we have alcohol too. Although that's wine. Let's see. I have a question from Time Machine. New upgradable NFT question for what you want to upgrade. So, okay, I didn't want to get into so much details, but I can tell you the following. I have it somewhere right here. Where is it? Okay, so for example, a composting facility that will level up from this is tentative. It could change, but what we're looking at is 1 tile radius and 10% speed boost to crops, all crops. And at max level, that thing would be 3 tile radius, 20% crop speed boost. So those are subject to change, but the idea is that as you upgrade this thing, it increases the speed boost that it provides to crops, and also increases the area of effect at different levels. So why are we doing that? Because we can sell a level 1 for cheap, so we can get more people in. People coming in to the game, they're more casual. They can say, well, I really can't afford a $500 NFT, right? A fully upgraded NFT, let's say. But they can potentially afford a $10 or $5, $10, $50 NFT, which then they can work to upgrade. So that's not the idea there. It's a simpler and easier entry point for people, and people who want to compete. Well, they can upgrade these things So that's our first test for that thing. Will be next week. We'll have the composting facility and the Common Ground Academy. All details regarding how much, how does the upgrade works. That's also tied with the ideas in the light paper and the tokenomics model. So the idea of the tokenomics model, as we mentioned before, and when you get in your hands, is to tie earnings to upgrades um, in different ways. And yeah, that's all the information that we can give for now. Are there any other questions?
So I'm trying to go through YouTube here to see if there are any questions. I got one that asked if the game was free to play, and yes, the game is free to play. What else we got on here? Someone asking if we could get some traditional games like spades or poker, and Gala Games does have a poker game. You can check that out. It's called Poker Go. They've got their own special Discord section. What we got? Question about nodes earning, and yeah, as far as I know, nodes are still going to earn. They've earned all along. They are still currently earning NFTs every month. Also, if you run them. And I think that's all I've got. One other question is just about town point earnings for NFTs that do have town points. And yes, that is how earnings will work when earnings come back on. The town point levels are staying the same for all the NFTs. We've said that a bunch of times. Those are not changing at all. What will be changing is the emissions levels. That's like the final numbers that are still getting worked on.
Okay. Any other questions?
There's an interesting one from Ed777. He's, I guess, asking on behalf of people who don't have credit cards. How do we walk them through buying the new NFTs or any NFTs with crypto only? Do we have maybe something on the Gala site or?
Yeah, I mean that's being worked on. There's a plan for that to allow to sell this thing with credit cards. So people are working on it. I can't go into details, but that's not us. Like we are providing the digital goods, and we'll see how. Um, I'm constantly syncing with the platform team to make the credit card available at least for these purchases. In the absence of that, we'll have to go through the old process of getting crypto and so on. But ideally, we'll get credit card up and running before this thing goes out for sale.
Cool.
Anything else, guys? If not, then just quick reminder of what we talked about today. We're rebranding the game from Downstar to Common Ground World. We're adding a new game mode, which is slow-paced, more casual, has a bunch of changes to the mechanics. So no gas, no cash death, or worker wages. Proximity effects won't negatively affect crops, for example. So we're trying to make that change too. Um, all trying to get people in and look at a game that it's way simpler. Hopefully they'll stay around and say, "Oh, there's competitions too. Let's check that out." Um, we'll have a competition next week, which is a vanilla competition. Anything goes. We posted the information already. You can do whatever you want in it. Yeah, I think that's the high level of it. We'll have the sale at some point next week. The composting facility and the Common Ground Academy. They will be both available for $10, both at level 1 and in GALACHAIN. First, Downstar NFTs in GALACHAIN. Cool. If there's nothing more, then I think we can say goodbye. Right. Thank you guys for coming. Now there's a lot of information, a lot of changes. Please check out the Gala Film site. Check out the pay it forward tiers for Common Ground, the film. You can get some really cool perks. There's also a bunch of perks for people who host screenings of the documentary Common Ground. So this is a big gala-wide effort. You can check that out and expect more information on the new game mode next week.
Awesome. I'm excited.
And as always, like and subscribe. Thank you guys. Have a good Friday.